Here we go.
Hello and welcome to possibly the biggest night in the NFL calendar. It is the NFL Draft 2025 tonight, along with ourselves on the Third and Long podcast. My name is, of course, the incomparable Welsh wizard, Shane Harris. Shane Harris. Oh, I've been called that for a long time. Shane Harris, my apologies. To my left is the OG of this podcast, Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson. Conspicuous by their absence, our beautiful little cherub is a little under the weather. Kick his teeth in tonight of all nights, but it is what it is. And Mr. P may be along shortly, but as I've said, it is the most exciting night of the NFL calendar. Who's going where? What are they doing? We'll break it down, and we'll also do our own mock drafts, which is always exciting. OBH, how's things, my old buddy?
I'm a little bit poorly, but I'm on the show.
We're starting the jabs straight away. I love it.
Yeah, told you earlier. No, good, mate. I had an absolute lush time in Italy. Anyone ever gets to go to Lake Garda, go and stay in Riva. Get it right in a minute. Riva del Garda. Third port of Lake Garda is beautiful up there. Absolutely outstandingly beautiful. To be fair, it's just absolutely stunning. Well worth going to see, and I loved every second of it, if I'm truly honest, mate. Honest, how are you? How's things you? Are you enjoying your week off, Mr. Harris?
All right, but yeah, not too bad. It does make me realize how empty my life is without work. I don't really do a lot. But yeah, I got a fishing trip tomorrow. My first time ever being fishing tomorrow. Up at the crack of dawn to Weymouth. It's going to be fun. Obviously, we get on the boat, have a couple of cans, see if we can catch some fish, and then a day on the beer, or in which case, a day on the boat for me. But yeah, that sounds really good. Other than that, yeah, all good. Just literally the one bad thing about going tomorrow is I can't sit and watch draft tonight. I'm absolutely buzzing. I watch as much draft content as I can over the last few days, maybe the last few weeks. And I'm absolutely buzzing to see who goes where and who comes home to the purple and black, or in this case, the white and purple.
It's draft time meeting at the same time eating. Don't miss the parents, I'm eating sweet.
Well, at least you turn up, my old buddy, eating or not.
Yeah, this is going to be an extraordinary draft because there's no massive QB talent out there, not day one worth. De facto seems to be number one. It seems to be Cam Ward at the minute, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do like to say I'm going to try my best too. But like you, I've got work in the morning, so yeah. As I said,
Cam Ward looks like the consensus number one pick to Tennessee, and he will have a new target to throw to, which we will cover in due course.
Yeah, most definitely. As British Raven said, it's draft day. I absolutely love this. Yes, mate.
Let's do it, Nick. Let's do it.
That's a proper beard, Shane, not like yours, mate.
I haven't shaved and you just shape this monstrosity. Nick, quick question. Who do you think we're taking at 27?
While we're waiting for him to answer, let's talk about some news that we've got something on really quickly. So it is.
This is the news in 60.
I've got a baby hope here, so I'm going to do it all.
Go on, boy.
Veteran wide receiver who left Seattle Seahawks back in February now. Ty Lockett is on to sign a 1-year deal, $4 million worth, or guaranteed $4 million for the Tennessee Titans. But like we said earlier on, is it going to be Cam Ward? Is it going to be thrown to him, or is it going to be Mayo loving Will Levis? Who knows? Broke overnight as well. Kirby Jones says the Lions safety has signed a new deal worth up to $86 million. Which makes him $21 million a year. This is the highest paid safety in league history.
Oh, for now.
Ridiculous.
Until Kyle Hamilton needs paying.
And following, 2 years ago now, when Kelsey retired, Jason Kelsey retired, Cam Jurgens took over the helm under center. They've extended his deal to a whopping $4 million deal worth $68 million. That's a 4-year deal on that gentleman as well. And to be fair, we all thought when Travis Kelce or Jason Kelsey stepped away from that O-line would struggle. But anything, it's got him stronger, I think, and that's no offense to Jason at all. He's gone for Tyler Booker if he falls.
Ooh, not a bad shout, Nick. Not a bad shout. We'll get on to who I think we're going to take later on in the show.
Yeah. So Tyler Booker is the pass rusher from Georgia, if I remember correctly. No, the offensive guard, sorry, from Georgia.
From Alabama. Alabama, I think.
He's a Georgia, isn't he? Is he Georgia? No, you're all right. He's Bama. Yeah, sorry.
Look at me and my college football knowledge. I'm learning.
I had red in my head, and for some reason I just went to Georgia, being the Georgia. But no, he's a Bama. He's an O lineman. Yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. Good thing about this draft, there's a lot of very good tackles in this draft. But we're going to go on to the news. We'll get to the draft in a bit. Let's start with Tyler Lockett. $4 million deal. Is it good? Is it good value? It's a 1-year deal. He's what 33 now, or will be 33 when the season starts.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's 32 now. He'll be 33 by the time the season rolls around. And I think it's a good deal for 1 year. He spent 10 years in Seattle, and he was always reliable. It was him and DK. He was either him, DK, and then in later years, Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, yeah, I think it's a really good pickup for the Titans. And as I said, if they're going to bring in Cam Ward like we all think they are, you'll need an experienced head to throw to. Someone on the sideline that's going to be like, right then, Cam, do this. I'll be here, do this. And someone who's going to sort of I've seen it all, done it all with the Seahawks. And I think it's a really intelligent pickup. And it's not too expensive. $4 million over the course of 1 year. If it doesn't work out for whatever reason, he hasn't got to come back.
No, exactly. I mean, like you said, he's 10 years experience. 4 times he's been in 1,000 yards. He's totaled 8,500 yards in his 10 years. Average about 850 a year, roughly. 61 touchdowns, which is about 6 a year. He doesn't miss many games. I think he's missed more than one game once, and that was in his early years. So he's a really good, really strong player. Yeah, I really like that pickup. It's a really good pickup as well on that one. The one that interested me is the Kirby Joseph one that broke this morning. So I'm on a fantasy group chat, as we all are, because we're all sad like that.
Am I?
And he's basically said another average player getting top dollar. What do you make of that statement?
He played really well for the Lions last year. I think he was second in interceptions behind Xavier McKinney for the Packers. I thought he's a decent player to have, but again, it's all market value. It's like we'll move on to Cam Jurgens' deal momentarily. But you know what it's like? It's been the same with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. Oh, I'll pay my guy this much. And then someone who thinks they're better will go, oh, well, I'm better than that, so I'll pay you this much. And it keeps going up the ladder, year after year. So I think it's a lot of money. He's okay. He's all right. But they're paying to keep him around the facility, keep him around the community, keep him around the team. And these days, you're gonna get anything that's above average for cheap anymore.
No, it's ridiculous. Especially the younger lads who are getting this first contract. This is his first contract. He's only been in the league 3 years.
Yeah.
We're going to have to pay Gonzo next year. And Gonzo's one of the best.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, luckily we've got the money, we've got the cap space to do it. San Francisco are now going to pay Brock Purdy at the end of this year. It's that kind of situation, You've got that Lamar Jackson contract sewn up. That's him done for the next, 4 years now, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 4 years, yeah.
That's why KC did such a good deal when in I want to say 2019, maybe 18, when they signed Mahomes to a 10-year deal worth 250 million. Was it 250 million at the time?
It was silly money at the time. I remember that. We were all sort of shocked. But then, as I said, the quarterback market's ridiculous.
And he's happy with that. This is really, really good business by KC. Because it's almost like we're going to see what this future does. So let's tie this quarterback, who's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. In fact, he is going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what, to a reasonable contract that is not going to blow our wage bill for X, Y, Z. Is why they can get all these great players. British Ravens come in and said, will San Fran really play Brock Purdy, though? I'd love to. Unfortunately, our San Fran guys aren't here, so they can't really talk about it. Being a Patriots fan, be a Ravens fan, are they going to pay him? Do you think they're going to pay him? And without those two being here,
of course they will.
What do you reckon they'll pay him?
Of course they'll pay him. They'll pay him top quarterback money because he's got him to several NFC Championship games, and he's an integral part of that offense now. The fact that where he came from, Mr. Irrelevant, no one knew who he was. And as much as I hate to say this, and I do, the boys can't hear me say this, thankfully, he's proved everyone wrong. He was the last player drafted in the draft the year he was picked up. Can you imagine what that does to your confidence? Like, think about this. Remember when the likes of Rodgers fell and Lamar Jackson fell? You know, you all think that, oh, I'm going to be brilliant, I'm going to go quite early. And you don't. Can you imagine how it feels to be the last person picked in the draft? When they got that silly Mr. Irrelevant jersey, you know? Imagine what that does for your confidence. But fair play to the boy. He's come from undesirable to undeniable.
100%. Completely agree on that one.
Cheers, Cody. Cheers, Cody.
Me personally, he's going to be around about 40 million. He has to be around that mark. Same, he's not quite. Hasn't got the flashes and the excitement of that, but he's not. He's better, in my opinion, than Dak and all that. But Dallas pays stupid money. It'd be interesting to see what he can do now with not as many superstars around him. Is he going to be there? But yeah, he's going to be at least a £40 million dude, in my opinion.
I was going to say we haven't even mentioned who he's going to be playing with at the beginning of the season because, there's a lot of players that could get traded tonight anyway. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Mark Andrews is traded for our team. You might see Brandon Ayuk finding a new team. You never know.
There's always something
who's going to be playing with. 100%, yeah.
There's always at least one or two shocks during the first night of the draft. It's normally Aaron Rodgers. He normally tries to take the limelight away from everything.
You're not wrong.
British Ravens come back. He's good in that he's good enough, but you have to question if it's good enough for San Fran to take the next step. Let's see what happens. Really good point. That is nice one. Thank you very much, British Raven. Cam Jurgens.
Ollie, before we continue, I can't see the comments coming up. You're not putting the comments on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't. There you go.
It was intentional. Thank you, bud.
I did miss this one. He's about Tyler Booker. He's an Alabama boy. Uzi Newsome would be in
Ozzie Newsome is, a lot of people don't talk about that during Ravens draft. Ozzie Newsome is quite integral in the draft process. Don't get me wrong. In EDC, we trust, and God knows we do. But yeah, it's not a case of one man making a choice here. Ozzie Newsome, I think, he may have some advice for EDC. Then we may see Tyler Booker if he falls that far.
Yeah, most definitely. Cam Jurgens, 25-year-old, entering his final year in the rookie season. 4-year deal worth $68 million, which is 39.4 guaranteed. I don't get how these centers get guarantees, like linemen guarantees. I don't know what their incentives are or how that works with linemen. You get it with like the skill players, the linebackers, the defense, amount of sacks they're going to get, amount of pressure they get. I don't get how linemen get incentives. I'd love to work that out one day. He's now only behind Chiefs Creed Humphrey as the highest paid center in the league, which is ridiculous.
I'll tell you the incentives. What are they employed to do? What is Creed Humphrey employed to do? What is Tyler Linderbaum employed to do? What is Cam Jurgens employed to do? Protect the quarterback.
Yep.
Right?
Stop.
And that's what they do.
Gap.
Exactly. Yeah, plug the gap. Exactly. And I think maybe it's a case of, I know the GM will say right then, if, say, for argument's sake, Jalen Hurts takes less than 10 sacks in 4 or 5 weeks, here's 800 grand. That sort of thing. I think it stops pressure,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so Jurgens finished 10th among the interior linesmen in pass block rate last year with a 95%. So basically, he stopped people going through the A gap. People who don't know what I mean by the A gap, you've got the center, and then the gap between the into the guards is called the A gap. So you've got the center, A gap, guard. Then you've got the B gap, which is between the guard and the tackle, and then you've got the C, or the outer, or the edge, which is where tight ends and exterior linesmen are normally, or the extra linemen. So
that's what happens. That's what happens when you used to play ball. You've educated me on many different facets of the sport over the years, and I appreciate that. I, for one, didn't know what the A gap was, and now I do. Thank you.
I know that because one of my corner blitzes was hit the A gap. I hated it when I got called that because at that time I was about 12 and a half stone, running into people who are twice my size and twice my weight. And I was going full pelt.
Hit the A gap, boys. See how it goes.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. Cheers. Ow. Yeah. But yeah, it's only, I think it only got called once or twice, I think it was. But yeah, I loved it. Perrins probably was on about it all the time, to be honest, but hey, as he's played defensive end, he'll know more about that one. So yeah, that's the main bit of news we've got on. As always, Mr. Perrins would normally cover the UFL. Being that he's had an emergency come through tonight, and we wish Jem all the best of luck and hope she gets well soon.
Yes, we do, of course we do. Love Jem.
I'm just going to do a quick roundup of the weekend's games that we had in the UFL. Before you do, I can do a quick roundup on WrestleMania if it helps. No.
All right, fine, as you were.
So yeah, the started off on Good Friday with the Michigan Panthers beating the Memphis Showboats 27-9. Meaning the Memphis Showboats are still without a victory after 4 games, leaving them bottom at the USFL table. We'll go on to the Saturday. The Arlington Renegades go to 3-1 as they beat St. Louis Battlehawks 30-15. The Birmingham Stallions beat the Houston Roughnecks 23-16. Putting the Birmingham Stallions back to 3-0. There are no longer any undefeated teams as the Rocks, San Antonio Brahmas, who were the last team, one of the last teams not to win a game, beat the undefeated DC Defenders 24-18. Now, I've been away.
I have a lot to say about that. You have a lot to say about that.
I mean, I've been away, so I've not really caught many of the games because, ironically enough, they had WrestleMania the night before in Italian, so I was able to watch that, but nice. I literally I walked around Riva to find a bar that showed the Formula One. So I managed to watch the Formula One. Yeah, this Ferrari, isn't it? Massive Ferrari.
Oh, Monza, yeah, of course it is.
I managed to watch that. But that and WrestleMania is the only things I watched. There's a lot of posts. Nope, can't show that because Inter Milan on. Okay, whatever. But yeah, so now looking at the USFL table, the Birmingham Stallions are leading the way on points difference over the Michigan Panthers, who are both 1-3. Houston Roughnecks are 1-3, and the Showboats are 0-4. In the XFL division, the Arlington Renegades are 3-1, leading the DC Defenders. St. Louis Battlehawks have got a 2-2 record, while the St. Antonio Brahmas are dragging their heels in a 1-3 record as it stands at the moment. I've watched bits of the UFL this year. I've seen bits when it comes up on my phone and stuff like that on Twitter, things like that. And I've seen the 2-minute highlights of games and all that. There are some pretty handy players. Don't ask me to name any of them. There are some good plays. Like, well, yeah, that's quite a nice, tidy play to make. But yeah, you could tell it's. I wouldn't even say it's college level really. At some points, you'd say it's probably a low Div 1, maybe a Div 2 level.
Sunday
college.
League.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that.
Grassroots football.
Yeah, don't tell him I said that.
I think he even said that once himself. Right. That time of year, it is draft night.
Yes.
Is anyone going to be this year's Bo Callahan? Is anyone going to be the surprise number 1 pick?
I meant to watch
Probably
it.
not. Are there going to be shocks? There's always shocks in the draft night. You know, you don't. Cole Strange going at 25 to the New England Patriots. We probably should have picked up in the second
That was
round.
hilarious.
Etc. Etc. So we're going to go through the other guys' draft picks really quickly before we go into yours. Like I said, Mr. Perrins has got Cam Ward 1, Carter, Travis Hunter 2 and 3. McMillan, I'm not disappointed with that. I'd rather that than Will Campbell, which I'm hearing a lot at the moment. I'm going to hide
And me.
that.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Ashton Genty going to the Raiders, which everyone seems to go that way. I'm hearing something different. Tyler Warren's the first tight end off the board going to Charlotte into Carolina. Couldn't actually think then with Tyson Loveland following straight after to New Orleans Saints. Mikael Williams, the edge rusher, going to Chicago, which is an interesting one. I'd love to ask you about that. Membaboo going to Dallas, which is an interesting one as well. Will Campbell, the very good.
You missed one. You missed one. Missed number 11.
I did that on purpose. I mean, we will put these all up on our board, up on our screen properly. He's got Shadir Sanders falling to Pittsburgh, which I've also heard a couple of times as well. Let's go to babies really quickly. So I've still got caught a bit of a cough. So he's got Ward and Sanders going 1 and 2. Ward 1, Sanders 2 to Cleveland.
Sanders going 2. Right.
I've heard. I'm going to talk about it in a minute when I get to mine. Travis Hunter 3, Carter 4. I really want Carter. Carter's the one I want in New England. McMillan to Jags, Genty to Raiders. So he's got Will Campbell, the tackle, going to 49ers. Perrins had Walter Nolan, the Ole Miss defensive interior guy, going to Niners, which is interesting. Colston Loveland, I've actually got this pick as well, going to Chargers to meet up with his old head coach from college. He's got 4 Michigan players in the draft. James Pierce, who he's put in both his mock drafts previous to this, going to the 49ers because he's a Vol fan, Tennessee Volunteers. He's got them going to the Seattle Seahawks, the edge rusher. Now, I'm one of those ones that always go, right, you need an edge rusher, draft the bloody edge rusher. He's got Benjamin Morris, one of the best corners, one of the best secondaries going into this draft, going from Notre Dame, going into Washington as well. A lot of tackles going in this, going in his draft as well. Let's go over to yours, Mr. Harris. Talk us through your draft. Talk us through your draft, mate.
So, yeah, I've got the consensus number 1 pick, as everyone and their mother knows, Cam Ward is going to Tennessee. I've got Travis Hunter going to the Browns. I think it's a sensible pick, the fact that he can play on either side of the ball. He's one of those generational talents that, I mean, they don't really have a number 1 quarterback in Cleveland at the moment, but Travis Hunter, you can't really pass that up. And I think Abdul Carter is the right fit for the Giants unless they make a trade to come back into the first and take another quarterback because God knows they need it. But Abdul Carter, again, is generational talent. You didn't want Will Campbell at the Pats, is that right?
So I do and I don't because, yes, we need a tight tackle. Undoubtedly, that is our number 1 position is a tackle at. But is Will Campbell worth going up for? No. I've heard some rumors. I'll get about that in a bit. About if Carter goes at 3, we trade. That's the rumor that I'm hearing quite a bit at the moment on the Boston beat writers and all that. Carry on, my friend.
I think it's getting to the point where we've been sort of, mulling these mock drafts over in our brain for weeks, and now it's actually draft night. I think a lot of picks from the pundits and from Joe Public, a lot of them are kind of the same. But what I've also noticed as well is Mason Graham and Will Campbell are kind of interchangeable.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of drafts where Mason Graham goes to the Pats and Campbell goes to the Jags. But you mentioned to me earlier on, right, that you think, I'm sorry, spoiler, this isn't a prediction, this is a spoiler, that you think Ashton Jennings is going to the Jags. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think they're going to be happy with Travis Etienne. Yeah, I think they're happy with Travis Etienne, even though from what I've heard, the whispers from, Rappaport and Peter Schrager, that type of people, that Travis Etienne may be up on the trade block tonight. So we shall see. But as I said, I think a lot of our mock drafts have Ashton Jennings going to the Raiders. Armin Membu, again, Jets. I think that's a bit of a lock as well. I'm not the only person to say that. Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia, going to the Panthers. Right then. Number 9, New Orleans Saints. They need a quarterback. And I think they should do a Sanders. The stars are aligning too much. There's too many coincidences. I think he's going there, but keep an eye out for Jalen Milroe as well. Going there. I got Mikael Williams going to the Bears as the edge rusher from Georgia. I've also seen, which this makes me scratch my head a bit. I've seen other mock drafts from, I watched one earlier on, I can't remember who did it. It was on NFL Network. He was saying that he thinks Chicago are going to draft a tight end. He thinks it's going to be Tyler Warren. And I'm like, you've got Cole Kmet. You know I'm a big fan of Cole Kmet. I don't understand why they want to draft a tight end. It makes no sense.
No, agreed.
So yeah, I've got Mikael Williams going to Chicago. And for them lot, for the Niners, I got Jardie Barron, the corner from Texas. I think they need all the help they can get with all their departures in free agency. Matthew Golden going to the Cowboys. I think that's a correct pick because they again need all the help they can get. Who else do they have on offense really, other than CeeDee Lamb? It's either going to be Matthew Golden,
Shoemaker,
or running back.
They've got the tight end there.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, like it's either going to be Matthew Golden or Marion Hampton. I'll move on to him shortly. Miami, I'm going with the tackle from Ohio State, Josh Simmons, who's an absolute beast. And I think the next pick is another one of those nailed-on picks, which even Stevie Wonder saw come in. Tyler Warren going to the Colts. They need a tight end. They take the best available. I think that's going to happen. You've got the edge rusher from Marshall, Mike Green, going to the Falcons. They need help there. This next gentleman, the tackle from North Dakota State, Gray Zabel, I've heard a lot about him. I've seen him fall as far as 27 to come to Baltimore. But I've also seen him go to, Arizona in the past. But I think he'll go to Arizona. I really do. I like this guy. I think he's great at what he does. He's a great tackle. I think he's going to Arizona. The team with the biggest defensive need in this draft is the Bengals. I got them taking 100%. Will Johnson, corner from Michigan. I think they need all the help they can get. Now they've basically tied all their money up in their offense, which I completely get. Any good offense is better than a bad defense. I completely get that. The aim of this game is to score as many points as possible. But then if you score as many points as possible and the defense, lets in as many points as possible, what are you going to do? But yeah, I got Will Johnson going there. I've got your boy, OBH, Kelvin Banks Jr., the tackler from Texas, going to Seahawks. What do you think about that one?
They have other needs. I don't think O-line is their number one need, but it's one of those things. Do you want to go and get the best player who's there at the time, or do you want to go and get your need? Personally, I would. Yeah, I would. I've had the other needs. I've always said they need edge rushers. They need, because they never seem to have anything. But yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, so as I said, I know you're a big fan of Kelvin Banks, but like I said, I think he's going to fall to 18. And then for Tampa Bay, taking the edge rusher from Boston College. You're a Boston College boy. What's his name, bud?
Who we got? Donovan. I can't even pronounce his surname myself, mate. And I'm a Boston fan. And I don't even get his name right.
Ezereku, Donovan Ezereku going to the Buccaneers. Again, this is one of my nailed-on picks. I genuinely think the Broncos are going to draft a running back. And if Omarion Hampton falls to them, I think he's going. I really do. I think he's the number 2 running back in this class behind Ashton Genty. And they need all the running back help they can get. I think he's going to Denver. And the next one then, I don't really care. But I'll be the unbiased broadcast journalist that I am. And yeah, we know them not need a QB. I think they'll take Jalen Milroe because he is, from what I've seen and what I've read, he is a Lamar Jackson type player who would be handy to use in practice to play against the best quarterback in the NFL, so that they know how to read his game. I think he'll be a starter maybe next year, if not this year, given some injuries. Yeah, Jalen Milroe goes to Pittsburgh. I got Colson Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, go into the Chargers. I think Jim will love him in LA. I think he'd be a good fit for that team. And I think they need a tight end in that position, in that draft as well. I think it's a good fit. And then Green Bay, I've got Ted McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, to go there. I think he'll fit in well with their young offense. I think they need more points scoring as well. And I think he's a good weapon to have. I'd be surprised if he falls this far, but I think he would fit well in Green Bay. And then with Minnesota, I've got Malachi Starks, a safety from Georgia, going there. I think he's a really good player from what I've seen. I think he will really fit well with that defense. He's a great safety. He's good at interceptions, pass picking up, pass blocking. I think he'd be a really solid pickup for the Vikings. And then even though I think Houston have the need for wide receivers at the minute, I'm still going with the tackle from Oregon, Josh Connolly Jr. I think he's really decent. I think he's very solid. I think he's very good at what he does, and he can sort of protect CJ Stroud, because CJ Stroud is at a rough sophomore year, and I think that would be a very, very helpful thing to do, to have him playing for the Texans and protect CJ Stroud. LA, and the Rams, which is a bit of a divisive pick. I've seen this one. I think I went with the pundits on this one. I'm going with Jackson Dart, the QB out of Mississippi.
Yeah, I've just read that, and I've just what?
I think about this, right? You sit behind Stafford for a year. I think he will, and I don't think Stafford's long for this world, in all honesty. No, he's going to die. He's just, may knock it on the head before long. But yeah, I think he's not dying. He's fine. Shut up. No, but I think it's a smart pick. I think Sean McVay, I think he will be happy to sit behind Stafford. But then again, it wouldn't shock me for him to take like a wide receiver like Booker or someone like that that's still left, because they need all the help they've got with Cooper Kupp.
I really like a Booker.
Yeah, and I mean, that may happen. But like I said, I followed the pundits pick with this one, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Right, my beloved Baltimore Ravens. We need help.
Why am I DI?
Oh, okay. What would you have taken?
I can't remember who I put on mine. Can't remember who I put on mine off the top of my head. No, I just wonder why do you go on DI? I know you said that you need help on the defense because you lost a lot in last free agency, 24 free agency for last year. I probably would have gone after someone who'd gone after one of the edges or DT or something like that. I don't think I would have gone DI, but you know your team better than I do, but that's just my personal opinion.
As I said, but we lost a lot in free agency, and our biggest letdown last year was defense. Our offense was on times unplayable, and it was. So yeah, I think we need sort of more help for the defensive line. And Kenneth Grant is in the right system. He could wreck shop from what I've seen. He's an incredible player, really good at what he does. Exactly, yeah. And can you imagine a superstar defensive interior lineman like someone like that alongside our team of superstars as it is? We're 1 or 2 pieces away from getting over the line. I know we are. This can't keep happening every year. I think someone like that would be a good push. And then saying that, Nick was right. I let the Lions pick up the guard from Alabama, Tyler Booker. Again, as you get later on in the draft, these teams don't really need that many sort of, massive pieces or big help or whatever. All they need is little bits of tweaking here and there. I think Tyler Booker would be a really, really good piece for the Lions to just plug in and play. And I think he'd be incredible at what he does. And he's one of those players to look out
who's
for.
your
again.
current starting guards?
Roger Rosengarten, Kyle Linderbaum, McCarty's gone to the Jags, so I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, my head's
Okay,
gone.
so you've
But yeah,
got one right guard and a couple of left guards.
exactly. See,
Voorhees and Daniel Falalali.
Oh yeah, Daniel Farley and Andrew Voorhees. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, we need to plug those gaps. So I think Kenneth Grant would be a good place to start. I've seen Baby was a big fan of the guy I've got going to the Commanders from Tennessee, James Pierce Jr. And I'd be surprised if he falls this far, but I think he'd be really good in Washington as well. I think they need an edge rush help after Josh Sweat went to the Bears. I think that's basically again, it's a plug and play. Like he's gone, let's plug him and play, and you'll be okay. And here's your boy playing for the Bills. If he falls to the Bills, right, Igmuka, if Igmuka falls to the Bills, God help it. That's just the rich getting rich. It's the rich getting richer, isn't it? Same with Walter Nolan. If he falls to the Chiefs, God help us all, because they don't need a lot of help. I mean, they got the Super Bowl again, and as we said many times on the show last year, they were all right. They used witchcraft. I'm sure they got a cauldron under the stadium or something, but they needed witchcraft or whatever it was to get to where they were. But they did.
I always just think of
Mm-hmm.
people's breath. But now I can see what you mean by the cauldron with all the steam.
See, witchcraft.
Mm.
And the last pick of round one, then I got Shamar Stewart going to the Eagles. Another classic case of the rich getting richer once again. But then they don't really need a lot. They need an edge rusher, because I believe they are best either retired or left in free agency. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. My apologies. But yeah, I think that's a really good fit for the Eagles. And that's my last mock draft. Let's get it on.
No, it's fine, man. I mean, it's some good picks up there. There's some interesting takes on there. But this is mocks. This is what we hear, what we feel, and how we go from on. So we'll go through mine.
Yes.
So consensus, everyone else, Cam Ward, unless something drastically happens overnight or leading up to this, Titans said they are taking the number one pick. And consensus is it is Cam Ward. I've gone Travis Hunter going to the Bears. To the Browns. And Adele Carter going to the Giants. Those two could be interchangeable. It's who you think, who you want. Will Campbell, look, this isn't a terrible pick if he goes at 4. It's not a pick I would be making if I was at 4. I would be trading back to about 10, 12, 13, around that kind of area, because that's where tackles should be taken, I think, personally, my personal opinion, Now, the one that I've heard several times, and these are from reputable sources, not just, Fred in the shed round the corner. I've heard this from Schefter, and I've heard this, through people like this. Ashton Genty is hot for the Jags, and the Jags are hot for Ashton Genty. Now, you said that possibly Travis Etienne is a draft day trade. I don't think anyone's going to give up a first round for him or a second round. But yeah, I mean, Ashton Genty is a game changer in any sense of the form. This guy is electric. He's big. He's strong. He's ridiculously good. Really like this. McMillan, he's a wide receiver that I can't think of their head coach's name off the top of my head. Pete Carroll likes. He's that kind of player. He's a bit of Tyler Lockett. He's a bit of DK Metcalf. A quick, strong, big-bodied guy. Exactly how he likes. So I wouldn't be surprised that happens there at all. But these wide receivers, you could have one that someone has it going in the top 10, and that same guy in a couple of other drafts could be falling to the second round or even the third round. Wide receivers are very, very close in their numbers and how they mark up in, apart from the speed and a couple of other things, their numbers are very, very close. Armand Mamabou, the tackler out of Missouri. I've got to go to the Jets. To get the best out of Justin Fields, you need to look after him, protect him as the best you can. They've got a really good young O-line in there. One or two pieces, another tackle will fix this. And I think this guy is probably one of the best tackles out there. But yeah, very, very good. I've got the excellent safety out of Georgia. Starks going to Carolina. I think this guy is absolutely outstanding. Mason Gray and the Michigan going to the Saints. Yeah, I get that. They need a quarterback. They still don't know the situation on Derek Carr.
What? Mason Graham? No.
Which I think is really poor, that you don't know what your quarterback situation is on the day of the draft. Now, they might change, in the next 4 hours. It might change. Who knows? Walter Nolan, very good defensive interior lineman from Ole Miss, is going to Chicago. Calvin Banks, the tackle, going to San Francisco. Forgive me his name. Trent Williams, the left tackle, is on his last season, if that. Great player. Chuck him in. Very, very good player. Calvin Banks, for me, is the best tackle in the league. Going to this. Love this guy. Mike Green, the Marshall edge rusher, going to Dallas. Pairing him up alongside Micah Parsons would be scary but I could also see him going to somewhere like Detroit. That would be a scary situation as well. The North Dakota State tackle Zabel going to Miami. You've got to look after Tua, because if you don't, he's done for the league. Simple as.
Oh, yeah, and not just the league, in all honesty.
The very good tackle, the tight end out of Penn State, Tyler Warren. He's my tight end too, but I've seen a lot of people read that he's going to Indianapolis. Shamir Stewart, I think this is a reach for him personally, but I've seen people turning it into Atlanta. So, yeah, that makes sense on the edge, but I don't know. The Texas Jaden Brown going to Arizona. I just think that's a great fit for him. Jaheed Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama. This guy is going to be an absolute stud in the league. He's side to side. He's north and south. Great in the coverage. Great in the pass pressure as well. Brilliant, brilliant player. Donovan out of Boston College going to Seattle. Every year I will put Seattle as an edge rusher until they actually have someone who could pressure the quarterback, because they never seem to do that. For me, Benjamin Morris is the best cornerback in the league going into this.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
He wasn't even in my first round.
He was injured a lot of last season, and he missed a lot of it. But you watch this guy, he is outstanding. He will be a top 5 corner in this league. They keep him fit. Simple as.
You heard it here first, folks.
Denver, they need another wide receiver. I think just to give them that little bit of edge, that you could pick up decent running backs day 2, day 3. Wide receivers, Linford Burden, big, strong, Missouri wide receiver, would fit what Sean Payton does. Now, I see Shadir Sanders falling all the way to Pittsburgh. Apparently, he had a great meet with Pittsburgh. They really liked him. Could fit really well in there. And I think having that strong hand that Tomlin has might actually help him more than, say, going to Cleveland, say, going to New York, or say to New Orleans, where they haven't got that strong hand. Tomlin is a wise old coach who will know how to A, get the best out of him, and B, keep his bloody feet on the ground and keep his mouth shut, because that's what he needs. Now we're going to have a run of Michigan players here, and it starts with Colston Loveland going to Chargers. He's going to get his guy back. He's going to be reunited with the Michigan. We saw last year, Harbaugh took about 3 Michigan players last year, and anyone he's coached, he's brought him back. Will Johnson, a very good corner. I think Green Bay need an extra help in the corner. Xavier McKinney is excellent in the secondary. Need a couple other. Kenneth Grant. Now, a lot of people are going higher than Mason Graham, but I think he fits better in Minnesota than he would do in New Orleans. So I've got him going to Minnesota. Matthew Gordon, that deep threat that they've lost in Houston. Pace is the quickest guy in the draft. Was it at 4.19 or 4.23? I think it was actually. Deep ball threat. Boom. Thank you very much. Jalen Water, the excellent linebacker out of Georgia, going to LA, the Rams. James Pierce, I was going to be mean to Ollie and give him to one of his divisional rivals, but I thought, I think James Pierce and edge rusher going to you would be superb.
It's either an interior or an edge. Yeah, that's what we need.
You know, there's no real big names there. Obviously, you got Van Noy, Roquan Smith, but where's your next
I love Roquan Smith.
edge rusher? There's no real edge rushers in there apart from those two. Boom. Brilliant. Ibuku, I love this guy. I just think this is a Dan Campbell type of guy, especially the rumors is that Jameis Williamson is tradable tonight. The wide receiver who has personality issues, shall we say. He's been suspended quite a lot, been injured as well. Yeah, I think they want him gone, and I think this is a great replacement. My big shock of the night, Cam Sketterboo, the running back out of Arizona State. Now, I've not seen anyone put this guy in the top rounds in the draft, or even day 2 of the draft. But I really like this guy. He runs like he is mad at everyone. He runs through people, smashes the crap out of people. And I think him fitting in that Dan Quinn offense fits so well. He reminds me a lot of what Zeke was when at Dallas. Yes, I know Dan Quinn was the defensive side, but you could just see him being that kind of Zeke guy, hard hitting, smashing straight foot, boom. I've decided to give Buffalo another running back. James Cook is unhappy at the moment because he's not getting paid yet. And I think Hampton out of North Carolina State or North Carolina University is a good shout. And I just think, yeah, why not? They're either going to trade out and then pick up someone later on and get another picks or not. Josh Simmons, I wasn't impressed with the tackles in KC, so I've given them a tackle. Josh Simmons is a KC style of tackle. He's great on the run play. He's great in pass protection. Yeah, why not? And it was a joke a couple of years ago where Philadelphia Eagles decided to take every Georgia Bulldog available that came to them, and decided to keep that trend up by giving them Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia Bulldogs. I just think it's one of those picks that fit. It fits. That's right. Yeah, that actually fits for me. I've seen it a couple of times going there, but for me, that fits.
Do me a favor, Beck. Could you put your mock draft back up, please?
Yep.
A couple of questions.
Go.
Okay, so firstly, I think we've been the same with Armand Membu, Jets. I think that's consensus across the board. That's going to happen. Tyler Warren again at the Colts. We've all said the same thing. That's going to happen. Why is Shamar Stewart drafted so high?
Shamar Stewart, because he had a freak of nature combine, and me personally, I think it's a reach. I think he's late day 1, possibly, more likely day 2. He has never stats, but you always get these players that are reaches. There's always someone that reaches high for a player because they want them. We also saw Jamar Gibbs at WrestleMania. He was classed as a reach. No, he wasn't. And I just think he's the sort of player that would fit them. He's quick. They need a bit of defensive work in there. Their offense is outstanding. Their secondary is brilliant. They just need a bit of a pass rushing. And I think Shamar Stewart is probably the one that would fit quite well in that team.
do you think that Denver's most neediest position is wide receiver when they haven't really got a running back game to speak of?
This is a draft, and it's week year in year out where running back. Yeah, okay, I put 3 in there, and I've got 2 going very very late. I like Cam Sketterboo. That is a very much a heart over matter than anything else. And
Okay.
I was looking at the players that are left, like reading what people are saying, and I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, they've got one very good running back in James Cook. Yes, they've got the other guy. I can't think of his name. It's top of it now, but they haven't got a smash mouth guy in Buffalo, and I think that guy works. Hampton, he's a smash mouth type of running back, possibly day 2 pick, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I can see that there's a lot of picks that people have made, not just ourselves, but expert pundits as well, that would have been higher up. And the bottom 3 in the class, you've got Amari and Hampton, Josh Simmons, and Mikael Williams. But yeah, as I said, that's the fun of draft night. We can do this till the cows come home. Who's ever going to get it right? We're not, do we? And before we continue, I just want to say a quick thing. This is from my Harley Babe for watching the show. Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. But yeah, as I was saying, like we're never going to get this right. Like what's the odds of us getting every 32 picks spot on? We're not, are we?
No.
This is the fun of it. This is the fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best I had was the first 6. I got the first 6 right 1 year. I normally you normally go right. You get 10 in the right, or somewhere around there, or you get about 10 players that you've gone right. This is the first round player, and they're in there, but you don't know. You hear more about it as the day goes on, but yeah, it's very I don't know who to pick kind of thing. Yeah.
Let's be honest, we are fans. We're not experts. We're fans. We do this because we love it, not because it's our job and not because our livelihoods are on the line. We do this because it's what we enjoy to talk about, what we enjoy to do. The only other thing I can sort of compare it to is fantasy draft in Madden. But then in which case, you know all of the players, or most of the players, you know what they're capable of, you know who you want to pick and where. With these players, you can have a base knowledge of college football, much like myself. You can have a better knowledge of the NFL, but we also don't know what the GMs are thinking, how they're thinking. Are they thinking now? Are they thinking years' time, 4 years' time? What are they thinking? In any event, the draft tonight is on Sky Sports 1, I believe, at 12 midnight. The draft itself starts at 1 a.m. It's also on DAZN, which I may be watching if I'm awake. But as I said, this is one of the funnest nights of the NFL calendar. Buckle up, guys. It's going to be a ride.
Somehow, I think we managed to tweet the whole bloody draft last year.
We did. I remember where I was when I did it. It was me, and you, I think, because baby had work and Phil was, I don't know, sleeping probably.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be well and truly like medicine.
Don, because I'm genuinely thinking pulling an all-nighter. Then the thing is, if I'm on that boat, my first time fishing ever tomorrow, and I'm going to have no sleep, I'd be overboard.
Nah, you'll be fine. Right.
I'll be sleeping on the fishes.
We do this every year. It is bonkers. I love it, but I also hate it at the same time. We are going to do our laugh draft, our first ever, well, our 4th ever live draft. We're going to draft ourselves between me and you. There's normally 4 of us.
Hello. Yep.
I find it very patronizing and not patronizing, petrifying, because I want to.
Very patronizing.
Right. The rules is it's off PFF mock draft, so you can go and get it wherever you want. We use our mock drafts to do that as well. No trades. It is just as it is: Titans, Browns, Gents, Patriots, Jags, etc., etc., etc.
Oh.
We're going to pick our players as we go along. So I'm just going to share my screen. He says, there it is. Pick that page and then share my screen, and hopefully everyone can see that lovely screen there.
Just about.
I am going to enter the draft. And the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Would you like to start first, Mr. Harris?
Yeah, as I said, I'm not deviating from my first pick, Cam Ward, Tennessee. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's here, there, and everywhere, isn't it? I'm going to change mine. I'm going to go
Okay.
Abdul Carter this time at number 2
Ah, okay.
to the Browns.
Okay. So Alan Carter going to the Browns. We can do that. As I said, I think 1, 2, and 3 are interchangeable, but there's no way that they're dropping outside of 3. So
Yep.
Travis Hunter's going to Giants, yeah, 100%.
Now, what I've heard is the Patriots will be trading back if Hunter and Carter have gone, which is likely. But we're not doing trades on this, and I'm going to do what I think they want because Vrabel really likes this guy. I'm putting Will Campbell at 4. Jaguars at 5, my friend.
I'm not doing it, but I'm not doing it. Mason Graham. Mason Graham's going to the Jags. Jenny's going to the Raiders. I'm telling you now.
All right, then. Gentry to the Raiders it is, my friend.
Thank you.
Jets at 7.
Uh-oh. Wait, what just happened? I think I just messed something up. So yeah. Wait, what? Oh, I just messed something up on mine. That's not good. So yeah, Vegas, Gentry, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I'm not changing. I'm going with Armin Membu.
I remember, yeah, I really like this guy. He is absolutely superb. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Starks at 8 for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, it's not a bad shout. I think they need all the help they can get.
Saints at 9.
Saints in the QB. I may even change it up. I'm thinking Jalen Milroe now.
Milroe, wow.
Yeah.
Milroe at 9 to the Saints. Wow.
Do not take
On
a
the
tight
top.
end, Chicago. I will be annoyed.
Running back, defensive line, safety is what PFF say they need. I do agree. I think Walter Nolan probably would be the fit here.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, let's go Walter Nolan. Niners at 11.
Do you know what? All right. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If Ayuk gets traded tonight, they're going to need help. I'm going Terry McMillan.
McMillan.
Yeah.
He's a big bodied. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Because Debo's gone. Debo's gone. If Ayuk goes, they've got Juwan Jennings, and that's it.
Dallas is going to go for Mike Green. I think they're going to take the best player in the... No, they're not.
No?
No, this is Jerry Jones. He is going to go for
Hollywood picks.
Matthew Golden, the deep threat wide receiver out of Texas.
Okay. Right. So the next pick then
Miami
is
13.
Yeah, Miami. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Do you know what? Let's pick up. No. Let's pick up the devil's advocate card. Tyreek's name is on the trade block again.
Yep.
You know, and I think they want to get rid of him because of all his legal troubles and the fact that he can't be trusted. You know, to put a Jimmy hat on it, as it were. I think if Tyreek goes tonight, Luther Burden.
The Missouri wide receiver. Ooh.
You got him.
Interesting. So they're going to
Which
kill
one
Tua. Is that what you're saying? They're going to kill Tua.
They're going to kill Tua.
I'm sticking with it. Tyler Warren, tight end to Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's definitely going to happen.
Falcons 15.
I got Mike Green, best player available. They need an edge. Yeah.
Yep. Arizona. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go J.D. Barron, the corner.
J.D. Barron, yep.
That's
fair enough.
Bengals,
Cincinnati, I'm going to stick with what I was doing anyway. Linebacker from Alabama, Jihad Campbell. I think that's the best pick available for them. And I think he'd be an absolute animal. He'd be a game wrecker, and they need someone like that at the minute.
Yep. I'm going to put Edge, Donovan Ezekaku from Boston College to the Seattle Seahawks because, they need edge rushers. Tampa Bay, number 19, my friend.
Tampa Bay, right then. Oh, okay. There's still a lot of decent names on the board. Do you know what? What if I said to you James Pierce Jr.?
What the
You need an
edge out of,
edge. Tennessee.
yeah, I can see that.
You need an
Yeah,
edge, yes, go for it. JPS Junior,
Yeah.
go for it. You need an edge.
Denver.
I'm telling you now, the pick is on the board. There's no need to mess around with it. You know exactly who it is.
Who are you saying then?
Omarion Hampton.
Nah, Ibuku. The big
If they
ass.
don't draft a if they don't draft a running back, right? On next week's show,
won't-
I'll put chili sauce on one of my hats and eat it.
I really thought you were going to say put chili sauce somewhere else then.
Oh no, you're all right. I've done that before. Ghost chilies. I wouldn't recommend it.
Shane, you're picking for Steelers.
Like, was it? Did you pick for the Broncos?
Yeah, I
then?
did, my friend.
Okay, cool. Who's the worst player in the draft? Let's have a look. Who's the worst player? Can I pick a janitor or someone like that? You know, or bin man perhaps. No disrespect, bin man.
Give them a
As a
kicker.
former, I loved it. Give him a kick. I kick him in the teeth.
No, long snapper.
I know a long snapper. No, you know what it's like. But I mean, I've got to, as a unbiased journalist, broadcast journalist, Shedeur Sanders. And you need a QB at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's
Say
pretty
it.
much. I could see them trading up to get Sanders. I could see that happening.
But
Loveland
Rodgers comes in and they draft him. What if they draft him, right? They draft Shedeur Sanders or Jalen Milroe, and Rodgers comes in and he's like, "Yeah, go on, I want a job now."
I think. Thank you very much.
Rodgers
You
of him.
can sit there and coach our first round rookie for a year. And boom! Thank you very much. Colston Loveland to the Chargers is a done and dusted deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Green Bay
They need to
23.
I think that's an excellent pick. Will Johnson is still on the board.
Will Johnson
Corner
from
from
Michigan. Yes.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I think it's a good idea.
Minnesota running back. They need running back. They need defensive interior. Let's go.
Running back, all right. Omarion Hampton's on here. What?
Kenneth Grant.
Okay, the same as you pick in your actual mock draft.
Yes,
So yeah, we know
wide
the Texans
receiver.
need wide receivers and an offensive lineman. Ooh, Josh Simmons and Kevin Banks down the board.
Yep.
Who's the best wide receiver left? Let's have a look. Ooh, nothing Hollywood. Nothing stands out to you. Okay.
There. I mean, yeah. There's some. Yep.
Do you know what? Got to go Tyler Booker. Got to do it. Got to go Tyler Booker. I think for the Texans, they need an offensive lineman, and he's the best available.
Interior line. Tyler Booker from Alabama. Rams. Calvin Banks.
Kevin Banks.
All day
Okay.
long. 27.
Oh.
Your beloved Baltimore.
I think I pressed him in. Oh no. I think I pressed him in. Do this. Okay. So you in Kevin Banks. Okay. Yeah, we need a guard, an edge, a defensive back. Do you know what? I wouldn't be against Josh Simmons. I really like him. The tackle, I think he's really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going Josh Simmons, but yep.
Can play interior. The running backs, wide receivers gone. I'm gonna put Jalen Walker into Dan Campbell's Detroit because I think that'll be stupidly ridiculously dangerous. On the clock, Washington at 29.
Okay. I'm surprised Omarion Hampton's fallen this far. They need a running back. I think that's a perfect fit. Omarion Hampton, even though they've got Brian Robinson, I think Omarion Hampton will be the best pick available at 29.
So on the clock is Buffalo. They need edge, they need linebackers, and they need corners. So you could either go Benjamin Johnson from Detroit. You can take the two Texas A&M's, Nick Soratoon or Shamir Stewart, or you could take the Ole Miss Trey Armas corner. He's the best for me. He's the best corner in the league. Like I say, he's going to be a top 5 corner in the league. Benjamin Morris. Hate that. Hate it.
I know. I'll find him. It is.
KC, my friend.
So yeah, 4. Yes. Again, wish I could pick a long snapper in this position, but apparently that's not what good broadcast journalists do. He need a tackle. I think Grace Abel would be a good tackle for him. Best available tackle in the draft. Yeah, let's take him.
Yep.
And the last one, pick 32, is the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you have in mind?
I'm going to go Shamir Stewart, the Texas A&M edge rusher. That
There's
is
a lot
our
of
mock draft of the night. I'll download this. I'll put it onto our socials and see how close me and Mr. Harris got to it. That'd be interesting.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I love the mock. I love the draft. There used to be a point where I didn't stay up and watch it because I wasn't really that interested. This is 20 years ago now, 15 years ago. And now I used to, I'm gonna do it. I used to take the day off, but changed jobs, didn't have enough days to take random days off to watch 32 people get picked by billionaires. This effectively is. These guys are about to have their lives changed for the better, for the worse, wherever you go, however you see it. And they are about to become adored by hundreds of thousands of people across the world by doing something they love and something they're good at. And they're also going to be jeered if they do something wrong because, god damn, we don't like it when our teams do bad things. Trust me and him know.
Oh, Christ. Don't we just Mark Andrews?
Certain goalkeeper
maybe,
as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Who may be on the trade block tonight. It'd be a massive shock if he does get traded. It would hurt my heart. But again, as a certain greatest soccer manager of all time, it hurts my heart to say soccer. But no one is bigger than the team. Isn't that right, OBH?
You're very correct, sir. As a certain Mr. Beckham found out. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will get this out live as soon as possible onto Spotify, etc., etc. Have a listen. I will put this on our Facebook page now, so you can have a look at that and see how close or how far we got it out.
Very far away. I thought there was a couple of nailed-on picks, which I'll be surprised if they don't happen. Other than that, it's going to be a wild ride. Buckle up.
Yeah. Enjoy the draft, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week to review it all with our mock draft grades. But until then, or draft grades, until then, good night. Stay safe all.